we have an interesting tech censorship story. So the Babylon Bee, which is the satire site, I think it's funny. Ryan doesn't.
Alleged satire site.
Ryan doesn't think it's quite as funny.
Citation still needed for that.
They're going to be off Twitter, I suspect permanently. So their account was temporarily suspended because of a tweet about Rachel Levine, who is this high-profile trans woman. She's U.S. Assistant Secretary of Health, and she came from the Pennsylvania Department of Health or health officials there. She's a trans woman, and so their tweet, the Babylon Bee's tweet, was calling her Man of the Year.
I said, just one bomb after another. It's not even funny on its own.
I don't think that's funny. But Twitter said it was hateful conduct. It violates their hateful conduct policy, which, so that's, you may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease. So they're saying that violates that policy. So they would have to take the tweet down. The Babylon Bee said, no, we're not going to take that tweet down, so we're just going to be off Twitter. Right. So, look, and I don't think that joke's funny. I don't think it's funny to make fun of trans people. That said, she is a public official, and there's I think a good tradition, or this is a good thing to have in a free society, in a democracy, a norm whereby you're allowed to kind of harshly criticize or even make fun of public officials, government officials. This is
obvious. Even wish death on, which
right.
People are constantly wishing the worst.
Yeah.
On people.
Yeah.
Right? And not just so. Yeah. To me,
Trump is Cheeto Hitler.
Right.
How many times has he been called that?
And if you want to keep it on the transphobia and homophobia theme, if you apply this rule consistently. Let's say you're supportive of this. If you apply it consistently, anybody who has made homophobic attacks on Lindsey Graham, or anybody who has shared pictures of Trump and Putin kissing each other, have engaged in similar. Maybe the degree is less, but it's the same kind of harassment. It's homophobic. It's ugly. Every time Lindsey Graham does anything that Democrats don't like, they come at him, like some portion of Twitter comes at him in a homophobic way. And so should that entire portion be taken down? I would prefer that people behave themselves in a more civilized way.
Right.
They don't. And so if you're not going to punish those people, then it's hard to see how you would then punish very similar behavior on the other side.
Yeah, because this is a pretty broad policy. Age, disability, gender identity. I mean, just...
age. Yeah.
Right, just saying these old lunatics could get you...
Right. That's disability, that's ableist and...
Yeah, I just did it. Yeah. Yeah, so this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So guess what I'm saying.
I mean, I think that, well, for one, I think that when you first said that Babylon Bee was taken off Twitter, I thought it was because they had so consistently been not funny.
That they were mistaken for
that they were just so consistently mistaken for fake news that people were finally like, you know what, you never tell a funny joke, and so
I've laughed at some Babylon.
Your satire license.
What's a good Babylon?
Your satire license is hereby revoked.
I don't. I think The Onion's gone a little downhill, sadly. Reductress is by far my favorite satire site. I don't know if you've seen any Reductress content. It's sort of a satire of a sort of. Progressive white woman, maybe not white so much, but progressive young woman, the female experience. It's so funny. It's really funny.
Check that out.
Yeah, check out Reductress. I'm looking at Babylon Bee to see, but I'm not going to be able to come up with...
And so Babylon Bee says they're going to die on this hill?
They said they would die on this hill, which is easier to do now because Twitter, I'm sure you know this, doesn't yield that much benefit anymore, other than the joy of being there. Which is not very much. It doesn't...
you mean in terms of sending audience?
Yeah. It doesn't... Tweeting articles and videos and stuff just doesn't... There's not a lot of follow-through anymore.
Why do you think that is?
I think they decided to punish links that lead you off-site. I think...
Like Facebook did.
Yeah, like Facebook did. So if you send a tweet... This is just my theory. I don't know that this is for sure. I think they changed it so that if you include a link that when you would click on it, you would no longer be on Twitter. The algorithm deprioritizes it so that you'll stay on Twitter. Which is, again, that's totally fine for Twitter to do, but then it is of less use to us as journalists who are trying to
They
direct.
think we're not spending enough time on Twitter.
Yeah.
What is wrong with them?
Right.
Have they seen my screen report?
But the implication of this is that in the last few weeks, at least, I know I've been spending way less time on Twitter, or I'm tweeting less. There seems to be less
because there's
benefit
less
to
point.
It. Yeah,
there's
less point.
Right.
So Twitter's slowly self-destructing, which is just as well. A Babylon Bee CEO won't help Twitter eradicate objective truth by deleting the satire Rachel Levine message. This is what are we looking at here?
Is it satire or objective truth? This is like, come on, Babylon Bee. Which one is it?
Oh, right. So another thing. So they're also saying they're making twin defenses, right? They're saying,
of course they are.
This is satire, so you shouldn't.
But also it's true.
Right. But they're also saying, trans women are not actually women. They're biologically men. The whole kind of social conservative argument. So, that's an argument they can make, but.
Which then means that it wasn't satire, which goes back to my point that they're like, it's not funny.
Right.
Like it's just mean to just.
I think there should be wide deference to the principle that it's okay to mock public officials, including for their appearance, because there's really no other way to do it. Like, we're going to do that. Are liberals really going to stop making fun of Trump's hair and his ridiculous tan and everything else about him? His entire physicality is hilarious. I don't think so.
No.
So to be even a little bit consistent, I think you have to let things like this go. But Twitter has decided, no, we will just enforce things, I assume, very hypocritically and very selectively until we get regulated out of existence the next time Republicans have control of Congress and have said, well, enough is enough.
And in principle,
so great.
In principle, I stand with Babylon Bee's right to be terrible. In particular, I won't miss Babylon Bee.
I can't remember which. I have laughed at a lot. I think they're kind of funny, but. To each his own.
I'll see. I'll check it out. See if I can find a couple funny ones.
I used to love the Onion videos, which they do. They don't do as many. Maybe they.
Yeah, those were good.
The Onion morning show was so good. Now that we host a morning show, it's even funnier.
Yes, those were incredible.
All right. Well, we'll have more rising right after this.